morning, right across this beautiful nation, we are marking our National Day with ceremonies, awards, barbecues, and also thinking about what it means to be Australian. And our daily dilemma this morning is, what should you tell your kids on Australia Day? With us now is Louise Vansley from Kidspot.com.au. Good morning, Louise. This is a very interesting topic. So how much should we tell our children? Because there's a lot of interesting history with Australia.
There certainly is. And I think one of the big issues is that often a lot of Australians maybe haven't really thought about what the issues really are. And the fact that Dad's, got the snags on the barbie and, Mum's wrapped in a flag and having a few Cardinals there, all in the cause of celebrating Australia Day. But really, we're not really thinking about what actually happened. And of course, it is Invasion Day. And, the Aboriginals are not sort of celebrating. They're really thinking about the history. And I think kids now in school really are quite aware of these things. And I think parents need to think about what they're going to say to their children, and are we modelling the right behaviour by sort of celebrating and having these great big barbecues for this occasion?
It's a strange one. I mean, I'm a very firm supporter of Aboriginal recognition in the Constitution. I'm very outspoken about that, and I do think we need to do a huge amount to address the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. And of course, all that began on the 26th of January 1788. But to be honest, I think just to call it Invasion Day is a gross sort of oversimplification. I mean, it was obviously a very different era. The people coming into the colonialists who came in, Arthur Phillip, Captain Cook, they were actually for their day very enlightened people, and they came here not with a wish to just commit complete and utter genocide. And so I think we definitely need to tell our kids a story, and certainly from the point of view of the Aboriginal people who were standing there watching these ships come in, they would have thought, holy, what's going on here? But I think you can tell a story that doesn't just say, yes, it was the worst thing that ever happened, or it was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. Maybe it's about looking at perhaps changing the date as well, because for Indigenous Australians, today is very much when everything changed. It's kind of when you say it makes you think about what it means to be Australian. And I don't grapple with that, but I think because we're not overly patriotic, say compared to America, we don't sort of... But for me, and what I like to think about our kids is that you want to sort of encourage them to think we are so blessed and lucky to live in this land of opportunity. But with that opportunity, we have a responsibility to look after the more vulnerable in our society.
And I think yes, absolutely. And I think, and that thing about Americans, the Americans know so much. I think if we're going to start doing Halloween the way it's exploded, then they should do Australia Day.
Yes, why not?
Kathy?
Well, as convict stock, First Fleet, which makes me Antipodean royalty, the creme de la creme, darlings. I think that we have two histories to celebrate. And obviously Australia, which started as a Commonwealth of Thieves, our first act was an act of theft because the Aborigines were given no more rights than the kangaroos. But look what Australians achieved. First country in the world to start universal suffrage for women, invented the secret ballot, 35-hour week for people in dangerous jobs, the first Freedom of Information Act. I mean, we've achieved so much. It's all about giving people a fair go, and we've got that is something that is just so rare in the world. I think we should celebrate that passionately.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And we invented the Hills hoist.
And the youth.
It's interesting as a parent to actually ask your children too what they think about it. I asked my 8-year-old and she said to me, well, I think the Aboriginals should have their festival and they should, have speeches and be sorry about things, but then I think all the rest of us should go to work as punishment. So, it's good to get their view too.
Louise, thank you and happy Australia Day.
Thank you.